Hi, it's Mark from Top Local Lead Generation. We're here with John Nieuwenburg of W5 Coaching in Vancouver. John's one of the top business coaches in Canada and actually in the world. And we're going to do some interesting things today. How are you doing today, John?
Doing terrific. Thanks for asking, Mark. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome.
So this is one that, as a business owner, that I think we've all had to face. Is a cash crunch keeping you up at night?
Yeah, gosh, if you're a business owner and you've never had that problem, consider yourself blessed. The truth of it is, as a business owner, almost all of us, maybe I could even say 100% of us, have had a time or two or more often where we've had a cash crunch and been unable to pay the bills or pay the bank or make payroll. And so the first thing I'd like to offer about that is this observation. It's pretty well known, but it's this: revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash is reality. And what that means is that we often get caught up in thinking about sales, and sales are, the lifeblood of a business. And if we don't have sales, nothing's going to happen. But there's a number of things that can be true. Do you know it's possible to be 100% or to have profitability in your company and yet at the same time be running out of cash? How could that happen, you say? Well, it can happen in a couple of different ways. For starters, well, let me give you the 5 most common causes of cash flow. Number 1 is poor collections. So you're making lots of sales, you're selling it at the right price, but your clients aren't paying you on time. They're, paying 30, 60, 90 days late, and that produces a thing called a cash gap, where you're kind of financing your clients, and as a result, your payroll, your inventory, and all those things that need to be paid are on the pressure cooker, and that's what's keeping you up at night, because your clients aren't paying you fast enough. Or maybe you're not pricing your items high enough, so you're getting sales. It's a competitive environment. Some of my clients talk about having to compete with China and these other price-conscious places, but the fact is that if you're selling but not making enough money to cover your overheads, well, no wonder you're going to have a cash crunch, right? So people sometimes sacrifice getting gross margin for the sake of getting sales and aren't attuned enough to the gross margin requirements in their business. Another thing that can happen is that you miscalculate, or you're forecasting inaccurately your upcoming expenses. And would you believe it or not, that often the cause of a cash crunch is that you're growing too fast. How can that happen, do you say? Well, it can happen when you're financing inventory, financing payroll at a rate that's exploding faster than your ability to recover the cash. And so one of the things that you do want to have in your business is, do you regularly measure your cash conversion cycle? Meaning, do you know how long it takes to convert the money you invest in inventory and equipment and in payroll, and how quickly you can convert that back to getting cash from your clients? So as a standard practice, do you have a way of tracking your cash conversion cycle? Or put another way, do you know what your cash gap is? Do you know what the gap is between paying out and getting the money back? So one example, a case study is, I worked with a painting client company, and when we first started working together, they were doing houses on the west side of Vancouver here, and typically a home's around 10 grand and to do the outside of a home, and that might take them a week to do. So they would do the work, buy the paint, pay the labor, and collect all roughly in the same week. Well, then, we wanted to start getting bigger businesses or bigger projects, and they started getting these townhouse kind of complexes. And, that might be $100,000 projects. But here's what happened. It might take them a month to do the work. And it might take 60 days beyond that before they're paid. And in the meantime, for 90 days, they've paid for the paint and paid for the labor. And while this looked good on paper, the fact is they couldn't afford their growth. And so we learned we had to continue to do these homes on the west side of Vancouver so that we could fund or pay or make payroll and take the profit out of the results of getting the bigger projects. So, it's an example of growth outstripping your cash requirements. So some things to think about. Do you, in your business, do you have a regular 12-week or 13-week cash forecast that helps you plan for your next 3 months cash inputs and cash outputs? Do you know where the crunch points are going to be in the next upcoming future? Just getting that information alone can help a lot. And avoiding the crunches, anticipating where the sleepless nights are going to be, and taking steps earlier to avoid what might be causing it. Is there anything you can do to accelerate billing? Can you go from sending out, some people don't send out their bills until the end of the month, and 30 days have gone by before they're sending out a bill. Well, why not send out bills weekly? Couldn't you send out bills at least every other week? So twice a month, have the billing department operate and get some cash flow happening that way. What are you doing to systematize your accounts receivable system? How are you going to shorten the time that it takes for you to collect on outstanding bills? Can you change your terms? Can you give a discount? Can you incentivize people to pay more readily? What are you doing to manage your inventory? Is the amount of inventory that you have appropriate for the level of sales that you have? Do you take regularly inventory? Do you measure the productivity of the inventory relative to your rate of sale? And what are you doing to clear out stale inventory? I'm working with another client, a retailer, who has an operating level of inventory, about a third of which is goods that are older than a year. In other words, although they have, theoretically, I'm going to give you a hypothetical number, let's say $100,000 set aside for inventory for their operation, only 65 or 60,000 of that was actually operational, because the rest was sitting in stale inventory that was completely unproductive. And as soon as we identified that and took some steps to basically just recover the money, we're at this point, it's just, can we get our investment out of it so we can make that money more productive? So bottom line is, there's a bunch of strategies, there's a bunch of things that you can do that'll help you improve your cash crunch, improve your cash conversion cycle, do better planning, and in fact, reduce the number of nights that you're having sleepless nights wondering if you're going to make payroll. That isn't the normal way to operate. There are ways to manage it better, to avoid it altogether. And if you'd like some help with that, of course, that's the kind of stuff that I do when working with clients. So who do you know who, as someone who's got some sleepless nights because of a cash crunch and would like to sleep better going forward? Thanks, Mark.
So if you need somebody to help you with this admittedly complex, daunting, some might say terrifying analysis, it's the key to making your business grow in a sustainable, happy fashion, I would suggest. And the guy to help you is this guy, John Nieuwenburg. You can reach him at john@w5coaching.com. He works with people around the world. Or check out his website, w5coaching.com. Lots more information on there. Thanks, John.
It's a pleasure. But something you said just triggered me, Mark, in that this cash crunch thing often is a bit daunting, and as a result, we tend to avoid it. And what we resist persists. And so if you want to take it on and eliminate it once and for all, and you want some help to guide you through it and give you some clarity on how to make that happen, then let me offer you that there is some relief in sight. It doesn't have to be as bad as it might be for you today. So let me just tack that on to your comment.
Thanks, John.
Cheers.